Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education for Lincoln Way Community High School District 210 for Thursday, July 16th, 2020. I'm sorry, January. We're trying, right?
Summertime.
Please stand for the pledge as you are able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Janik.
Here.
Ms. Janice Doyle.
Here.
Mr. Kirking.
Here.
Mr. Lucine.
Here.
Mr. Luchetti.
Here.
Mrs. Stokes.
Here.
Mr. Costick.
Here. Student Council Presidents. We have Sydney, Audrey, and Erica tonight. Who would like to go first?
I can start.
Come on.
Good evening. Last we spoke, I shared the plans of Lincoln Way Central Student Council had to close out the first semester. As tradition, Student Council decorated the AP room in holiday colors along with handing out hot chocolate to students on the first day of finals. Also, as you've heard, the Student Councils of Lincoln Way hosted a conference for the SWSC where students could share and gain new ideas for all things school spirit. And now we get to use these new ideas to help us prepare for twerk, which is Friday, February 14th, and to prepare for the week leading up to it. This year, we will have a school-wide vote for the twerk theme in hopes to increase the attendance of the dance. In other news, the boys basketball team holds a record of 12 wins and 5 losses, and boys bowling won the Lincoln Way Cup in their recent tournament. Our dance team, the Rhythm Knights, placed second at their conference Wednesday and will move on to their sectional next weekend, January 25th, in hopes to qualify for state. Lincoln Way Central is also excited to be hosting 2 upcoming athletic events, one being the Illini Classic for wrestling and the SWSC cheerleading conference. Additionally, Lincoln Way Central's Winter Play Clue is preparing for their shows February 21st and 22nd. In the coming weeks, our student council will begin their preparations for twerk, and we are excited to see how it will play out. Thank you, and go next.
Thank you.
Good evening. As everyone else has just started the new decade in 2020, the Warriors are excited to continue their new decade as a school with some exciting things planned. In December, West promoted the message that Warriors are kind with Do Good December. Students and faculty were encouraged to do intentional acts of kindness for others. Throughout the month, several activities and opportunities emphasizing the Be Kind message were available in the cafeteria. The Madrigals had a successful performance, and West hosted several holiday concerts to finish out the semester. Student Council hosted their Polar Express community event and sold over 800 tickets, making it even larger than last year. The day was full of fun with many different activities like making crafts, decorating cookies, train rides, and even pictures with Santa. Before finals, comfort dogs were available to meet with during advisory periods. This allowed students to utilize positive coping strategies and de-stress before their tests. To start out the semester on Tuesday, West hosted its elective fair. Freshmen, sophomores, and juniors had the opportunity to explore all of the many electives available to them at West. Students are working with their counselors to set up their schedule for the next school year. It's a busy time for winter athletics at West. Teams are in full swing with senior nights, conference tournaments, IHSA competitions. We are very excited to see what the rest of the season brings for all of our teams. Student Council is already working hard on preparing for the winter dance. Members recently voted and it's decided that this year's theme is Winter Wonderland. A lot of amazing ideas are being discussed and we already know it will be a dance to remember. 2020 is already off to a great start and we can't wait for all the amazing things the Warriors have planned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Audrey.
Greetings from the East Side. Second semester is in full swing over at Lincoln Way East, and we are approaching our busiest time of the year. This week, our student council met, and we decided our twerk will be 70s theme. Student council then decided the actual name of the dance and the spirit days for twerk that are still pending administration approval. Twerk will be held February 15th. In addition, students have begun practicing for our annual Mr. and Miss Griffin show. Last year, we hosted nearly 1,000 spectators and were able to hand out 21 scholarships as a result of the show. We hope to top these figures this year. Mr. and Miss Griffin will be Saturday, March 21st. Today, a group of 80 Griffins will be heading down to Princeton, Illinois for the Peer Helpers Retreat. Upon their return Saturday, these students will have gained valuable leadership and coping strategies to help out their fellow students. This weekend, our FBLA is hosting a regional competition where high schools and over 250 students will be at East competing in various business competitive events. We would like to wish our FBLA members best of luck in competing and hosting a successful event. Next week, our Orchesis Club will be putting on a production entitled Number One Hits. Tickets are on sale now as the event will be held January 24th and 25th. And finally, we'd like to congratulate LWE Reading Department Chair Erin Finizio, who was recently named Will County Educator of the Year. This is a testament to the work she puts in and outside of the classroom preparing material and educating students. That's all from the east side. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We got public comment. We have one person sign up, Audrey Buell.
Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Audrey Buell. I am a senior at Lincoln Way Central. I wanted to bring attention of our Lincoln Way School's consumption of styrofoam. Styrofoam is a pretty big problem. It's not biodegradable. It is made of harmful carcinogens. It easily escapes into ecosystems and waterways where it affects wildlife, and it works its way up the food chain and can eventually harm humans. It is one of the most common forms of litter, and it takes up 30% of landfill mass, and is one of the top products found in oceans. So it's pretty dangerous. And I propose that there's other alternatives that we can use in our cafeterias besides styrofoam. We can use biodegradable products, specifically compostable plates. Other schools have already made this change, like New York City, even Chicago cities, LA, Dallas. In Chicago, you guys probably heard on the news, has made remarkable movements to take styrofoam out of like their restaurants. So I believe the Lincoln Way schools can too. Lincoln Way schools are leaders, academically, athletically, musically, and in the arts. And I know that we've already made some big changes in reducing plastic, like with our salad bowls. We have reduced to more compostable ones. We've already reduced our styrofoam, but I believe that it can go even further because Lincoln Way is a leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure, we got, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Croswick. I'm the director of the New Lenox Public Library. I'm accompanied today by Dr. Edward A. Tatro, our board president, and trustee Michelle Monbrod. Do you guys want to pass out the flyers? Sure. Okay. First off, thank you for the opportunity to speak with this group. We not only appreciate that, but we appreciate the partnership opportunities we have with the district. We host the Madrigals at our library, which is well received by the community. We have a new teen scene that's been revamped in the past 2 years to give teens a more comfortable and supportive environment outside of school hours to study. We've even hosted after-hours study programs, and that's been really well received. Usually 100 kids every time we do that. We've had one of your book clubs recently come to visit the library, and we always enjoy volunteers coming to support our events in exchange for service hours. At West and Central, we even have our teen librarian going there to engage students in crafts and get them to know about the library. So we truly enjoy working together with you, and we appreciate that. I've been in libraries for almost over 18 years now, time flies, and it's really refreshing to see a great partnership between the schools and the library. So as an information professional, I enjoy sharing facts. As a librarian, I love telling everything about the library, which is kind of important, being the director and all, and tonight is no different. I've come here to tell you about our March 17th referendum on the primary election ballot. What that entails is an operating rate increase. What the ballot does not tell you is that we just paid off our bonds for the construction of the building last month, so we are officially debt-free, which is very exciting. So we're asking the taxpayers in the community to redirect the funds to that operational tax rate increase because the construction bond is going away permanently. The board and I have kind of waited for this opportunity to create a tax-neutral opportunity for the citizens and the library itself. Now, I can't tell you how to vote because that's not allowed, but I can tell you if yes, if no. If yes, we would like to be open Sunday hours. Currently, we can't do that. We know that this is a community of wonderful students and working families, and we'd love to be open Sundays to support studying and off hours at the library. Also open possibly early in the mornings too. We can expand and improve services. That includes partnering more with the schools and the other organizations in the area. We actually had an architect recommend even furthermore improving our teen scene area and making that a more supportive environment for teens. And also that not exciting but necessary building improvement. We had a facility assessment done, and over the next 10 years we're expecting about $5.4 million worth of capital needs to be addressed. So that's going to start chipping away at our operating rate that we currently have. Just this past summer we had to close the second floor for 2 days because it got up to 94 degrees inside, which was not pleasant to say the least. If no, opposite of that, we're looking at ways of cutting costs when those capital needs increase of decreasing hours. Not going to happen tomorrow or next year, but we're looking at 3 to 5 years down the road, decreasing hours by 15%. We'll have to limit services and offerings such as materials purchasing programs and of course outreach with our partners, and minimizing maintenance and attending to things when they fail and not being proactive about it. Now, the average home value in New Lenox is $272,000. Just to give you some perspective, $185 of that is paid by the homeowner to the library per year. If it passes, should the EAV stay the same, that's going to stay the same. So $185 a year, they're already paying it. If it fails, then it would be a decrease of approximately $56.36. So just to give you a perspective of what we're talking about. We will have 2 informational meetings. The first one is next week, January 22nd. The other one will be on February 22nd on a Saturday. So you're more than welcome to attend that for more information. We also, as seen on your flyers, have a website, newlenoxlibrary.org/vote. And I'm always welcoming the opportunity to sit down with anyone or make a phone call or email if they have questions about the details. Now, since I am a librarian, I do enjoy doing my research. I went to your website and looked up your mission statement, and part of that is the school district, in an active partnership with parents and community, will promote excellent and a caring environment in which all students learn and grow. This partnership shall empower all students to develop a strong self-esteem and to become responsible learners and decision makers. We honestly could not agree with that more. That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to create an area that's supportive of teens when they're in your district, prior to arriving to your district, and even afterwards throughout the lifespan of lifelong learning. So we're hoping, regardless of the outcome of the referendum, to continue to partner. And if you have any questions other than that, yeah, go ahead.
I'd just like to say, and those of you that know me, I spent 31 years in the New Lenox schools, and then after retirement was at Lewis University for about 7 years. We know that quality education is important in this community, and our library is an extension of that. It makes for a better community to support each other. So we're hoping that you can support us, and I know that many of you aren't from New Lenox, aren't voting members of New Lenox, but when you hear about it, you can let people know that this is a no tax increase kind of issue. So we appreciate the opportunity tonight. Shelley? Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we have our state champions here.
Coach Bonar, please.
Congratulations.
We certainly thank you for this opportunity to be here for this recognition. My name is Rob Bonar. I'm blessed to be the head football coach at Lincoln Way East High School. And before I introduce these young men, I just wanted to just let everybody know what a tremendous group they were to be with this past season, both on and off the field. They were one of those groups that you could kind of lead from the back, and they were the leaders, 4 of our leaders here. Some of their teammates decided that they were going to set their goals and take it upon themselves to accomplish it. And so we, as a coaching staff, just kind of were able to sit back more than some years and let them do their thing, and it was a lot of fun. They came up with an off-season word or mantra or philosophy they were going to live by, so we all wore wristbands all year that said redefined. And it wasn't just going to practice in football every day to try to get better, but they honestly set out to be better in their academic lives, their personal lives, their social lives each and every day as well, and they did a tremendous job with that. So with that said, a few of our captains and leaders that are with us tonight. Dominic Jobin is our kicker and punter. Dominic was just recently named an All-American this year, and if you saw him kick and punt the last few seasons, or especially the last few weeks of this past season, I think you would agree that he is an All-American. Dominic is an excellent student in the classroom and recently committed to play his next 4 or 5 years on full scholarship at Miami of Ohio University. Next to him is Sean McLaughlin. Sean is the team captain and all-state defensive end. Sean is also an academic all-stater with a 4.6 GPA on our 4-point scale here at Lincoln Way, and he's going to spend his next 4 or 5 years with Coach Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern on full scholarship. Adrian Wilson right here next to me. Adrian is the team captain, honorable mention all-state, also an academic all-state, all-stater with a 3.9 GPA, and he's headed to Bowling Green to play football on full scholarship as well. Down on the end, Jay Kramer, team captain, all-state linebacker, academic all-state with a 3.9 GPA. Jake's being highly recruited, but at this time is still a little bit undecided. 2 of our other captains can't be with us tonight. They both have very good excuses. Martin Hoban is with our peer helpers this weekend. Martin's one of those kids that we all hated in school. He ruined the curve for everybody else. Martin's a 5.0 GPA with a 1400 SAT. So we're proud of Martin, and I thought those academic scores warranted bringing him up, even though he's not here. And then finally, you may have heard of a kid named AJ Henning. As I woke up this morning in 14-degree weather, I thought of AJ, who AJ is spending his week at the Polynesian Bowl, one of the prestigious All-American Bowls, and this one happens to be in Hawaii. So 11 o'clock our time Saturday night on some cable channel, but it's out there. But we're very proud of these young men, and we certainly thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. We thank you all for everything you're doing for Lincoln Way and redefining our district. Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you, Coach, and your team. You did a fantastic job representing the school district, as you always do. But I thought particularly this year, don't tell Corey Paws, but I believe this is the best Lincoln Way football team we've ever seen. But you should certainly not only be proud of your accomplishments, but the way your young men carried themselves throughout the year. So thank you for everything. Before you guys leave, if you can come around behind, we only have one individual here that has a football entry. So if you guys can come around behind, and then if the board would, if the board would join us as well behind, so we could do a picture to put on our side, please.
You can stand.
I'll hold them.
Janet, you're really milking this. That's right, I'll take you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to our consent agenda, which includes the approval of the regular meeting minutes of December 19th, 2019, approval of the payrolls of December 20th, 2019, and January 3rd, 2020. Would anyone like anything pulled from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, if you'd open the vote, please. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
And a second. If you'd open the vote, please.
Why did this mean July?
And the vote is open.
I'm just so worried about you. You're going to keep
Oh, I changed it for you. The vote is unanimous, the motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to action items. First up, presentation of invoices for December 20th, 2019 through January 16th, 2020.
Motion to approve the invoices in the amount of $1,909,141.53 dated January 16, 2020.
Motion, have a second.
Second?
Any discussion? Open vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the treasurer's report for December 2019.
Yes, for December, the district recognized $3.3 million in revenue, and while we expended $6.4 million, bringing our total cash balance on hand to $25.7 million. You will notice now our fund balance will begin to be different than our cash, because we now have occurred our first part of our TAWs. As part of the closing on that, we did have to draw $100,000. Not because of cash flow, but just because to seal the deal, if you will. So now our fund balance is $25.6 million. As far as the monthly cash flow, we actually had a positive variance of $1.1 million, different than projected. On the revenue side, this was due to a very strong tax collection. We finished the 2018 tax collection with a positive variance, if you will, of $151,000. That is, we collected more than we expected due to a lower than normal delinquency. We actually only had a 0.15%, so we typically project 0.34, so we're very strong. The state also surprised us with a mandatory categorical payment. We didn't expect that until January, but they went ahead and moved it in. With all that being told, we were the 1.1 million variance. AP was lower than expected. Payroll was right where we expected it. As a total year-to-date comparison, we're $6.8 million better this year than in prior years. As far as revenue goes, I guess I'd say pleasantly surprised. With all the things moving around, I had actually forgotten that we had, when the interest rates started to soften, we did pull off a $13 million and put it into a CD within the Illinois Public Trust Fund. I apologize, we hadn't labeled that or put that on the treasurer's report as a separate investment. So last month when I said interest was lagging, it was, but there was a good reason. One of that because we were not receiving any interest payments on that until the CD matured. So we had that CD mature, and then also we collected more, $14,000 more in interest on our taxes than in prior years from the county. So with those two things, our interest income is back on track, but with lower rates, we do expect it to sag a little bit in the last 2 quarters. But that is a lower interest earning time for us. Revenue overall is looking good, and we're on the right track. Expenditures are really looking nice. We're trending 1.9% below. As you will notice, the salaries and benefits have really, especially benefits, we were trending slightly ahead. We knew we were taking that premium vacation on the health insurance. We took that in December, and that brought that right into line. And so we're actually trending 1.9% lower than we were expected to be at this time. So everything's looking good on the treasurer's report. Any questions or comments?
When is that? You're taking 2 holidays, correct, this year? Or
No.
You're just
So, right, we're taking
doing
one,
next year.
and then we had, in the 5-cast, we had set one for next year. We'll discuss that in March if that's something the board is still wanting to do, or how we want to move with that.
Fred, you want to mention that we received the consumer price index today?
Oh, yes, I can certainly give a little on that. So the consumer price index actually came out yesterday for December, which the December CPI controls the 2020 tax levy. In the 5-cast, we had put in there, we had projected 2.0%. It actually came out at 2.3. So what that means is that's going to provide the district, based on the 5-year forecast, about $1 million extra over the next 5 years. It's about 270,000 a year or whatever. So that looks, the first year we only collect half because the tax levy split over 2 fiscal years, but still it was positive news. So we'll be updating the 5-cast and have that ready for you guys in March.
Any further questions for Brad? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report for December 2019 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If you open the vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, student activities report for December 2019.
In the student activities report, there was one account that was in the negative, Chess Club Central. Timing differences with some of the fundraising. It'd be positive here by the end of the month. And then administration is requesting a new account. It'd be Student Athletic Training West. Those are students who want to pursue possibly a career in athletic training. Their fundraising funds would be used for spirit wear or t-shirts for the games they work, and then possibly an occasional pizza before a game. So we would ask that the board approve that account to begin that activity.
Any discussion or questions? Not any motion. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna ask that, the class of gifts, repairs, and maintenance, is that for all one class? That's where it all got consolidated?
Correct.
Entertain a motion to pass the student activities report as presented.
So moved.
A motion, I have a second.
Second.
A motion to second. If you'd open the vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Moving on, personnel, employment.
Under employment, we have John Finelli, security guard, Kimberly Johnson, bus driver, Kimberly Rose, bus driver, and Chet Roble, bus driver. As the board to approve the employment report as presented.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the employment report?
So moved.
A motion, I have a second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? You open the vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, resignations and leaves.
Under resignations, we have Thomas Deniger, security guard, Luke Lokink, assistant girls track coach, Hugh McCorkle, security guard, Alexander Petrakis, associate principal, and Stephen Schobel, assistant girls bowling coach. As board to approve the resignations as presented.
Can I get a motion to approve the resignations and leaves report?
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? You open the vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, retirements.
Under retirements, we have Cheryl Shakaitis Croy, special services teacher, asking to retire June 30th of 2024. We have Sarah Davies, English teacher, asking to retire June 30th of 2024. Lauren Kaminsky, special services teacher, asking to retire June 30th of 2024. And Michael Leone, director of transportation, asking to retire June 30th of 2024. Ask the board to approve these retirements as presented.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the retirements?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? You'd open the vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, the interfund loan.
Yes, this is per the cash flow. This is one of the interfund loans we'll be needing to make over the next little while as we continue to balance our cash flow and making sure we keep our tax anticipation warrants as low as possible. So, request approval.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the interfund loan resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? You open the vote, please.
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, informational items, 843 report.
The report is included in your backup material. Deidre, would there be anything else to add from that last meeting from 843? I think it was pretty routine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. No, there was nothing else to add to that.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Moving on, FOIA requests.
Nothing to report.
How about that? Moving on, building and grounds.
Rich is here if anyone has any questions in the buildings and grounds report.
I had one question. I was looking at this correctly. Let me open it here. In the far right column, that's year over year comparison? I just saw, what was the variation, the big one in lawn maintenance of 28% year over year?
We had a couple factors that contributed to that. One, we had some wet weather, we mowed more. We're on a per occurrence billing basis, so every time they mow, we pay. And the other one was we had some absentees from our ground staff, so we used our contractual labor to fill in for those gentlemen when they were off.
Gotcha. And that's the same thing with service. We don't control when things break, and we bring in a pretty big increase there, a big variance, I should say. Okay. That was my only question about that. Thank you, Richard. Anything else? Community relations?
It's in your backup material for your review.
Acid and
Acid is cultural competence. Young person has knowledge of and comfort with people of different cultural, race, ethnic backgrounds. Home teach your children about their heritage, encourage them to feel proud of their cultural, ethnic, and racial identity without feeling superior. And then at school, model acceptance and appreciation of differences. Make these stated values in your school and district. Don't tolerate racism, bias, or prejudice. And in the community, include the images and voices of a variety of people in community relations, advertisements, posters, and promotional materials. That'd be the asset for February.
Thank you. 210 advisory.
The advisory committee did not meet in January. We will reconvene on February 10th.
Thank you. 2009 bond debt restructuring, sales results. Some good news.
Yes, first off, in your packets, an updated memo for me. I apologize, had an oversight in the first memo. The sales was better than initially projected. The spread to the, well, I shouldn't use terms I don't know, but MMD, which is the average yield on, I think, treasuries, was actually smaller than we expected. So basically our bonds sold what they would have expected like a AA bond to sell at. So it was very positive. So basically in the structure, there were two things that they were doing. There was one small little group of bonds that they were just simply restructuring for savings, which if you look on the debt schedule, just really moved from the old ones straight across on the same line to where we would be at on the new schedule. And then, of course, we restructured some of it, which was to pull it and move it down to 2034 to lower. Now, we still will have an increase in our debt service, but to moderate our increase in our debt service. So really, the results that I want to report out is twofold. So first, on the piece that they just grabbed to refinance for savings, our net savings on that was $515,000 over the remaining life of those bonds, so positive savings. And then the second piece that they grabbed and moved down, that actually had an increase in our debt service of about 2.5 million. The net overall for the entire structure was $2,057,627, which is found on page 7 of their report, the green column. So basically, we were able to moderate the increase in our debt service, at the same time providing some short-term savings, but in the long haul of it, a little more than 2 million increase in our overall debt service. With that, I'd answer any questions that you may have.
So
go ahead.
Beat you to it, I guess. So this is obviously phase 1. We're going to start to move forward with phase 2 then, assuming what's the time projection or timeline on that, I should say.
Well, actually, we've got a little while. So phase 2, we'll be targeting to be completed probably in January of 22. So we've got a little time when we want to have that all finalized. So I think I'm saying that correctly. 21, sorry, 21. So we'll
this time
begin
next year, we'll start
yeah.
doing the same type of process.
Go ahead.
So I'm just throwing a thought out there. I mean, this went really well. And if you even compare it to when we first started meeting back in August, the numbers, especially in these early years, for what we kind of restructured looked really good. I think, you know, that second phase we were talking about, there's no bonds that are callable in that period, and we were talking about having to do potentially taxable restructuring. But I think, you know, if we take a look at it, we might want to consider looking at some numbers for either repurchasing some of those bonds or defeasing those bonds with cash for that 1 year before we have this low callable, until we have the callables, which are in, would be levy year 2022. So, again, I haven't really looked at it from the standpoint of what that levy year 2021, 2023 looked like prior to the restructuring, but I think if we did a little comparison and looked at that, and I know Aaron's brought it up once before, and I don't know, when we earn interest on the proceeds that are sitting in the bond account, when we go to levy the next year, are we including that in the levy, or is it still in the account? I know we'll be able to see next month after the bonds are paid off how much
You're
is
asking,
left
do
in
we
there.
levy less?
Yeah, I'm asking, do we levy less, or is that money just rolling? So that money,
Accumulates.
like we earned $100,000 in there, that's starting to accumulate in there.
Correct.
So I mean, that's one potential
Good
starting
point.
point for it.
Correct. What, I guess, Brad, what's our timeline? When does Bob come back and take a look? I haven't looked past I know this was kind of our get to this game, and then what do we project, or do we need to put together another timeline for phase 2?
We'll put together another timeline, but we'll probably start meeting again with him in the summer and start getting things.
Probably in August, kind of like we did this last time.
June, July, or
Meet in June, July, and then August, bring something back to the board with the timeline and start to analyze some of what you discussed, Chris, for January action possibly.
Right. Well, I think we might have to bring it up a little earlier, because we probably have to look at the
interest amount.
Well, not only the interest amount, but the budget for
If we're
next
going
to
year.
use cash.
And also, I mean, that's the levy year 2021. It's actually for fiscal year 2023. So,
yeah, we can start that right away with Bob. If we want to look at the option of utilizing cash.
As a scenario.
As a scenario,
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
That's
what
right.
I'm saying.
If we waited a year, maybe.
I don't think we can wait.
No, but if we waited till summer, a year would have been.
Oh, right.
If we decide to use a defeasance strategy rather than a complete refinance. Plus, don't forget, we do have some pretty sizable capital assets sitting out there that we may need to pressure ourselves to take action on sooner than later.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, specifically the scenario I'm looking for is that, just that first year, 2021 levy year, 2023, and what are those? The cabs, the series 2006.
Yeah, you go from 435 to 19, that box, correct?
Yeah, and I think, I'm just looking at what, so debt service and for 2020 levy years 20.9, and it goes up to 25.7, so that's what we'd be looking at, bringing down a little bit, bringing the increase down a little bit.
I think different potential scenarios could start tomorrow.
Yep. Well, I think
Now, look-
March would be the time, because the scenarios would want to be as part of our 5-cast, and then as you mentioned, Rich has been working with our architects to put together our large capital survey of all of our large equipment that will be ready for that time as well.
Legislative report.
Just included the Capital Watch. The state has concluded the property tax relief plan, but it's, as the heading says, remains unclear after the task force issues its report. Not much in the report other than how municipalities do tax. We'll see what comes out of Springfield here in February once they get back down there, but nothing new to report at this time.
Thank you. Superintendent's report?
Superintendent's report, we did, the first day back, initiate training with Narcan as we had discussed. So our school nurses, our deans, and also student trainers. We included the deans and student trainers because they work all of our events. And if someone, not our students, were to have an episode or attack, we would then be trained to administer the product. Our nurses will have it, our student trainers will carry it with them. So we've completed that training with the individuals that we felt necessary.
Any other business?
Nothing new to report.
Any correspondence?
Not at this time.
With that, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session for discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees, and establish the sale or lease price of real estate.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
We're going to go ahead and stay in here for closed session, so if anyone would